Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Why do you think men are like the way they are?
As in what?
As in just the male species, or why are you like this?
What's your actual question?
Woke liberals need to be put in their place constantly. Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're watching woke liberals get owned. You should own the like and subscribe buttons now.
What the? What happened? Is everything okay?
You trying to get noticed. You trying to say kick me out. Let me get the clip.
No, I'm being dead
You're
ass.
the clip rat.
I'm being dead ass.
Clip rat, right?
Hey cops, are you looking for me? Are you looking for the Indian kid? It's me!
Clip farming ass.
Bro, I'm just trying to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, you really care.
Well, God, I care. I care about your well-being, but you don't care about mine, but it's all good.
You can tell when an adult wasn't hugged enough as a child.
Jarritos.
I was looking for an orange one.
Freeze-dried Skittles.
Let go!
Mountain Dew. Broccoli.
Oh, what the?
The future remains bright, people.
If President Trump asks you to cut Medicaid, will you do it?
Oh, it's not up to me to cut Medicaid. It would be up to Congress. And
You don't
I'm
answer.
going to work.
Mr. Kennedy, you don't want to answer? I'll move on. Do you know?
He actually did answer. You just weren't expecting knowledge and common sense.
An electric car in a car wash because car wash is wet and you can't get an electric car wet. I never thought of how.
What is it? Just not rain where you live? It rains. Water comes out of the clouds. You know what? Why do I even explain my?
What's with her makeup?
Ma'am, what did you want to get out of this? Go me?
Okay, TikTok, right now it's a video that's going viral of me, the healthcare worker that's dancing on top of her patient's head. It's not what it is. Trust and believe. All I gotta say for now is angles play a big part, but we're gonna get into that another time. He looks very aware and comfortable to me, so y'all need to stop jumping to conclusions, even though, yeah, I do see how he look, but trust me, it's not that.
So you heard what she said, right? Y'all heard what she said. The camera angle is the problem. So the camera angle is the problem, and it's not what you think it is. She twerking on people. Tell me if you see what I'm seeing. Now maybe they like it, but this ain't where you supposed to be doing this at. You at work, girl. They ain't at your crib. Maybe they want you to drop it on their head. But you can't do that while you at work getting paid. This is what they do at the strip club. Don't ask me how I know. You should actually go to church. You should go meet the Lord, because I don't get what kind of pills you taking. That don't make no sense.
Did she get fired though? She should have been fired immediately. Angles, you were the only filming.
Can you identify as a black person?
No,
Why?
because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetics. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
That conversation just hit a whole new level of wait, what?
Am I a feminist? Yes, because it took feminism to get us to the point where we are now.
Do you realize how different the job availability was 100 years ago?
But that doesn't excuse
do you realize
the
that?
fact that
But
women and men got paid differently for doing the same job for the same hour.
but here's the thing: like equal pay, feminism can really only exist when there are comfortable, air-conditioned office jobs. I didn't hear feminists in the 1800s saying, "I want to go into the coal mines and get black lung," because for the longest period of human history, most jobs were like extreme.
When the argument side steps equal pay, the silence speaks volumes.
Statistically, it is true that Asians, right, on average, make more money, better test scores, get into better colleges, all that stuff. I think the question is, why is that? And I don't know, model minority, whatever that label wants
That's
to mean.
actually a myth because we cannot be.
Well, no, listen, well, let me finish my point. We need to observe what makes people successful and unsuccessful. And I think when you look at trends that are generally true in the Asian community, not of everyone, but are generally true, usually you have families that are sticking together, you have people are taught to work hard in school, not get into trouble. I think that translates to why Asians en masse are successful. And I don't think you have to be Asian or white for that matter to not have kids out of wedlock, not, commit crime, not cause trouble or whatever it is. It's just a matter of like, well, common sense. That's what makes people successful. And if that's so-called assimilation, having a nuclear family, buying a house, going to school, whatever it is, then yeah, okay, call me a pro-assimilation then.
I think there's a difference between assimilation and erasure.
Yes.
Facts dropped, woke heads spinning.
Agree with the notion that an unborn baby is a parasite?
Yes, it's a parasitic.
What class are you taking that's telling you that?
Literally pathophysiology.
Is telling you that a baby is a parasite.
It acts as a parasitic animal.
It doesn't. Do you know the definition of a parasite?
Yes, explain it to me.
What is the definition of a parasite?
A parasite is something that lives inside of a host that has to feed off of that host.
And kills it. It's not a symbiotic relationship.
Not necessarily.
Yes, that's the definition of a parasite.
Calling a baby a parasite? Bold move. Hope they're ready for biology class to clap back.
Well, saying contributes to systemic racism in this country. It means that my students of color are pulled over and accused of stealing a car when they did not.
I'm not pulling anybody over for stealing any cars. I see many people of many different races in this room. They all seem to be doing just fine. I don't think any of them have felt violence because they listened to a lecture on basic facts about our immigration system. The question was, have I asked people in this room if they've felt as though some violence has been committed on them? No, I haven't asked, because no violence has been committed on you. Because violence is not a subjective feeling. Violence is an objective fact. And I would say to you, as a faculty member at a taxpayer-funded university, this is the foundation of liberal education. If you cannot understand that there is a difference between speech and violence, you don't understand anything that undergirds the liberal arts or liberal education. And that is a real shame. If our teachers don't understand the difference between ideas and violence, between speech and violence, then they are in no position to educate the next generation of Americans.
Feelings lose their disguise when facts enter the chat.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately.
Okay, hello, nice to meet you, none of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
Can you prove that? Well, thank you. May I have a hat?
No. So let me ask you, none of your business. Who do you plan to vote for?
I plan to vote for Kamala Harris.
Why?
I mean, you answered my question, so I'm done here. Like, there are people waiting.
Can you tell me her greatest accomplishment?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me a single accomplishment?
I cannot. I want to leave. Like.
Want to vote for Kamala, but can't name a single achievement? That's confidence with a plot twist.
Haters will say trans women don't belong in the women's bathroom. Does this look normal to you? No. And just man to man here, it's not going to look normal when you go in to get your prostate exam either. You can't expect society to just conform to the abnormal body modifications that you've done to yourself. Sorry, bro.
Exactly. Okay, you got some surgery and you look different. So did James Charles give it a rest, will you?
Oregon students will no longer need to be proficient in reading, writing, and math to graduate because having standards to graduate disproportionately harms students of color.
Now you've got to agree with me that that is incredibly racist. What? What does skin color have to do with being smart if there are no standards? What's the point of going to school?
I'm David, I'll be your Uber driver.
Hey David. Whoa, please don't look at us like that.
Excuse me?
What's that? Did you see that? Why do you keep looking back at us? Yeah.
So none of their dads had a car? Oh wait, they probably don't have dads. Okay, they've never seen a car driven?
This one might get me into a lot of trouble, but I'm starting to think that one of the main problems today is that men are being told what a real man is by a woman that had no father. Why is that, Emily?
Oh, because women that don't have fathers tend to misunderstand men because they unfortunately have never had a healthy relationship with a man, which isn't her fault as a child, but it is her responsibility as an adult to recognize this and to not project that lack of relationship into all men are bad. Does that answer your question?
Why does that woman not have a father?
Oh, you wanted to turn it it into another topic that you could blame men for. Some women don't have a father because her mom didn't want her to, or her dad didn't want her to, or maybe life just turned out that way and her dad died.
Did he abandon his family? Did he not live up to the responsibility of having a family? Did he unalive himself? Where's the man's responsibility in that?
Well, you only covered the times that only a man is responsible, so I'm starting to think there's a bias here.
Instead of answering those questions, women like this will attach themselves to the proximity and to the acceptance of vile men.
I'm sorry, did you just call my dad, my 2 older brothers, my fiance, and my son vile? Because they are in closest proximity to me.
She has accumulated over 3 million followers with these sorts of takes.
Takes a full raw truth that a lot of people have a hard time listening to.
I think Ginger's daddy is out of the picture and has been for a minute.
If I pull up to the Mexican restaurant and I see a truck, because let's face it, it's going to be a truck, with a Trump bumper sticker, you're getting keyed. I don't even want to see you at Taco Bell. The only thing you get to eat for the rest of your life is plain white bread and mayonnaise.
Did you just assume that everyone who works at a Mexican restaurant is an illegal immigrant? It feels a little racist, you know? The destruction of other people's personal property is also a crime. You seem to have a very internalized white savior complex, ma'am.
Liberals have to start visiting professional and skilled hairstylists. These bangs are becoming worrisome by the day.
To me, it's almost like reverting back to the civil rights movement. Now we're telling fat folks that they have to buy an extra seat. Not too long ago, my grandparents had to sit on the back of a bus.
She's gonna equate civil rights, fat rights, folks. Okay, let's see where this one goes.
It's almost like segregating folks based on the way they look.
I can't imagine. Did you really say that?
She thought she had the high ground, but reality had other plans.
Point somebody's truth has to win. Because guess what? Your truth doesn't matter. That's still a truth
You've
claim.
had your truth in this country for the past thousands of decades.
Thousands of decades?
Not thousands. Whatever. That's a little embarrassing. But like your truth has been the narrative of this country forever. And you think
Roe versus Wade just got repealed. Abortion was legal in this country for 40 years.
And before the 40 years, what was? And crime dropped.
Thankfully illegal.
40% after it went.
On top of that,
oh wait, hold on. Do you think abortion lowers crime rates?
Crime dropped 40% after abortion became legal.
Why is that the case?
It's called a statistic.
Who has the most abortions in America?
Women.
Black people. Is that so? Are you trying to say the termination of blacks in the womb lower crime? That's a very racist argument.
That is not a racist.
You know, I can't hear you. You gotta come on.
There has to be
yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm with you on everything.
When your own stats turn against you, maybe it's time to double check the facts before the debate.
What happens in California if you murder a pregnant woman? What do you get charged with if you murder a pregnant woman in California?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
It's called a double homicide. That baby's still in the stomach, so wouldn't abortion be murder at that point?
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly, man. I think you're just throwing out stuff and...
He dropped logic like a mic, and all that followed was awkward silence.
It's not totally limitless. When you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
But if anyone,
there's so many benefits.
Right, but if anyone, according to you, can identify as a woman,
I don't see a problem with it.
Just literally put their hand up and say I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into the world.
It's
very easy. You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say
what
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to go out into the world and say I don't identify as perhaps the sex I was born as.
Why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd twist.
I think that's what.
About quite a
with respect, I think that you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually,
When logic enters the room, the argument quietly exits.
Yeah, I mean, just content that will solicit reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of.
When definitions get wobbly, even simple questions turn into trapdoors.
If you could eliminate one thing from the world, what would you eliminate?
Narcissists.
Toxic feminism.
Guess he's all about that selective cleanup.
is a woman?
That's a stupid question, dude. That's a dumb
It can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Who identifies as a woman?
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. Define woman without saying woman. What is a woman? This is not a trick question, everybody. You're in college paying for an education. What is a woman?
How about you tell someone with media training?
You don't need media training. It's not a trick. What is a woman? You can't answer the question with the... It's like... The college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
If a simple question leaves you speechless, perhaps it's time to reconsider the strength of your argument.
What makes you think Doge is efficient?
What makes Doge efficient? Yeah. Well, actually, I have some examples of Doge. Can I go through them for you?
Yeah,
they actually printed these out for me. So Doge saved $1.5 million going to a voter confidence summit in Liberia. $1.5 million. Let's see this one. I haven't even looked at these yet. Doge saved $40 million going to a gender equality and woman empowerment hub. That's what we're funding. Let me see what else we have here. Doge saved $19 million going to biodiversity conversation in Nepal. That seems important. How about this one? Doge saved $47 million going to improve learning outcomes in Asia. $47 million. Doge saved U.S. taxpayers $144 million identifying 97 government real estate leases that were empty buildings. And how about this one? $115 million going to equity assessments of existing program policies. And this is just touching the surface.
So do you see the efficiency now, or do you need to hear it from a blue-haired rainbow mascot?
Do you believe the United States is the best country in the world?
No.
Can you name me 3 countries better?
Not really.
Not only can't she name any country better, she will never move, ever.
Somebody wants to be a cat, or if anybody wants to be a dog, if anybody wants to be a woman or X, whatever, I just support.
Could I marry a cat?
You know what, go for it. Whatever.
So you support?
Just go for it. Now, I would question, like, why would you want to marry a cat? That's on you. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop you from doing so because that's none of my business.
But do you understand how crazy that sounds? That America has got to the point where people genuinely believe you can marry a cat and that's okay.
Would you marry a cat?
No.
He has no opinions of his own. Marry a cat? People are carrying cars, though. I guess cat marriages are just a few steps farther.
The price of literally everything is about to go up because of Donald Trump's tariff.
Wrong. In June of 2018, Trump placed 25% tariffs on Canadian steel. When we look at the price of steel, we see from 2016 up until June of 2018, the price was skyrocketing. Then after the tariffs were imposed, we see that the price went up a little bit and then came down pretty dramatically. Trump also placed a 10% tariff on Canadian aluminum. When we take a look at the price of aluminum, similar story from 2016 to 2018, we see the price was going up dramatically. And after his tariff was imposed, look what happened to the price of aluminum.
Now is not a time to be playing politics with people's lives. You spread propaganda and hate.
Trump has temporarily blocked healthcare for 72 million low-income Americans. The executive office of the president literally said, no, any program that provides direct benefits to Americans is explicitly excluded from the pause and exempted from this review process. You should really stop lying and get some sleep, Dean. That's tough.
And he should probably clean off those marker lines off his chin. Without lies, liberalism dies.
Should we agree that 14-year-olds should not be able to get gender-affirming care? You think they should?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I think they do. Are you the Society of Pediatric Endocrinologists? Are you the AMA? Because they disagree with you.
Just because you don't have the title doctor does not mean that you can't see which doctor practices from afar. There is no medicinal value of giving a 14-year-old girl who might be going through a phase, who's probably going through puberty anxiety, irreversible drugs, and breast removal surgery, and saying that this is all about gender-affirming care.
No one in the United States under the age of 16 gets breast reduction surgery. They do have access to hormones, and there are medical benefits to that, primarily the decrease in anxiety and suicidality.
First of all, that's been disproven in the Cass report. I don't want to pick on you, but you got to explain to me, what is a woman?
I think it's anyone who identifies as a woman.
No, but then what is the term? It's like saying a tree is a thing that is a tree. That's circular reasoning.
I think it's literally just that.
No,
I don't think it has to be that deep.
That's not.
Okay, how would you define it then? To like understand where you're coming from.
As humanity always has, which is an adult female with XX chromosomes, right? Not tough, not difficult, not overcomplicated. My 2-year-old actually can say woman, man, woman, man, woman.
Why do you need to know that? Why does it matter if you call them a man or not?
Hold on. So we just gravitated from that. This is what it is to why does it matter? Let me tell you why it matters. Because we are being forced to lie on a daily basis and affirm people's mental delusions.
That one is pumped with whatever synthetic hormone. It's become a blur. No child should be allowed to potentially destroy themselves. You won't let them drink or do drugs. Why are they tearing apart their biology?
And you know that's like an ignorant way to stand, right? Like,
why?
You're over here, I tell you.
I'm actually half handicapped, so that's very offensive that you said that.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I can probably tell
I'm
that
super
you're
offended, actually.
Yeah. So lying and being a high conflict is part of your personality disorder. Why are you looking at women with eyes?
Are you a woman?
Oh my God, so you...
Oh, I didn't even know, I'm sorry.
I'm non-binary, so it doesn't really matter.
That's why I asked. I was trying to be polite. That's what you should...
Beating woke logic at their own game. Now that's next level trolling.
I don't think you can be sexist towards men, and I don't think you can be racist towards white people.
How have you arrived at that conclusion?
That's a good question. I don't know, just hearing like all the stories about like all this messed up stuff they did in the past. Like, I'm not even black, but I have a grudge against them.
Are you referring to slavery?
Yeah, and just like the treatment of them over time since then, like all the discrimination.
Do you think that white people were the only ones who engaged in slavery?
So wait, are you trying to like say that like white people were slaves too?
Yeah, white people were also slaves.
That's where the term slave comes from, is the Slavic region.
Exactly.
That's why Eastern Europeans are so oppressed even within Europe.
I don't know, but I didn't see them oppressed over here that much. Like, I don't know. In history, I don't see books talking about the oppression of white people.
Yeah,
Why do you think
that's
that
a problem.
When facts hit harder than the woke logic, there's no safe space left to hide.
I can't work many hours because of my anxiety.
You have anxiety?
Yes, I do.
What causes anxiety for you?
Lots of things.
Like what, for an example?
Anything that doesn't agree with me, basically, or see things the way I do and see the good in things. That I just think that society is lost and just a bunch of hateful bullies.
He's turning you into a woman.
I am not a woman, Jesse.
Yeah, you act like one because you're afraid. You're beta.
No, you're a beta.
No. You're a beta, Michael.
No,
beta.
You are a beta. I am a normal man. You're a beta man.
No, you're not normal. I could think of many words to call you. Normal is not one.
I'm putting this on the bully list.
When disagreement triggers distress, it's time to question the resilience of one's convictions.
This is a queer fat club.
I'm queer and fat.
Okay, thank you for joining. We're just introducing ourselves at the moment.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Joe?
Yeah, my name's Joe. I go by he, they, and I identify as 275 pounds.
Okay.
I feel like Jay's kind of making fun of me though. I know it's kind of a shock. I know, kind of a new thing.
I'm just,
Do what?
I said I apologize.
Oh no, you're good.
Are you comfortable leaving the group at the moment?
Why?
I'm not understanding why you're joining the group.
This is the queer and fat group now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I came here for.
Okay. And you said you identify as fat?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just for fat-bodied people.
Yeah, I understand. I identify as a fat-bodied person.
I'm not understanding where you're coming from.
Are you guys comfortable with me here? I mean, I'm pretty chill on my end.
I'm not comfortable, no.
Using woke logic as a weapon. Confusion level, expert unlocked.
You have a channel?
Yeah, we're doing some interviews today. Such a good vibe. Should we kill the kids in foster care?
Why not? Why not? If that's the case.
We should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted.
Who's gonna take care of them? I need to know the percentage of people who take children from foster care and abuse them and molest them, who make them like personal slaves.
We should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
We should kill the victims of molestation.
I think, what does this have to do with molestation?
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
What I'm saying is in general, overall. If I don't want to have a baby, I should have the choice to.
Just don't have.
Not. Even as teens, people explore. And it's like, as funny as you want to be, people should still have the choice. I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
When losing the argument means taking it out on the journalist, guess facts aren't welcome here.
I need Democrats to do something. I need Democrats to do something. I need Democrats to do something. If you are the party of the people, if you are the party who's representing the rest of us, if you're the party who has our best interest in mind, I need you to do something. Please, I am begging you as someone who is having a hard time affording breakfast for her kid every day. We're doing the best we can. It is your job to represent us. I need you, please,
What's
to
your
do
job?
something, anything, make a noise, make a protest, do something. Stop just all the damn words.
I've done some digging. She's a disabled something other gender or something. So we should all have sympathy. But I don't, because she goes on to make herself even more unlikable. When you think of the Democrat voter, or the people who control the party, I should say, think of this.
And honestly, I'm a queer, disabled, poor woman in a very red state. Do you truly believe I think my little my little feelings on the internet this early in the morning when I was tired?
The seatbelt dirty. And it's not even the driver's side. She's a passenger in someone's vehicle, and she dirtied damn seatbelt.
Honey, let me hold your hand when I say this. Y'all are stupid sometimes. Y'all are straight stupid sometimes. I wish y'all the best. I wish y'all some help.
Lady, with chompers like that, let's keep the S's to a minimum, lady. Can I suggest using words with a lot of P's, a lot of M's, consonants that keep your mouth closed? I can't keep watching this. Play the rest of it, but I don't want to.
I wish y'all some context. Who mentioned Ukraine? Who mentioned any of that? Because it sure wasn't me. Who mentioned Biden? Because it wasn't me. Y'all, I need y'all to get some help, please. Like please.
This is the attitude that comes from narcissistic sociopath white ladies. They go, oh, honey, and they feel entitled to do it because they just accuse you of doing that you're actually mansplaining, that you're patronizing. Imagine if a man were to talk to a woman that way. Here's the thing: you can do it. We just don't respect you. It's annoying. We tune you out, and so you have chosen in your dirty seatbelt from the passenger side. Could you please let me know how that happens? To act exactly the way that you accuse your opposition.
Can't afford breakfast and tattoos were free, I'm guessing.
Why is nobody questioning why Bob Ross has an afro and he's white? Has anybody ever seen him with straight hair?
First of all, that was a happy little tree he had atop his head. Second of all, what God did to you and LeBron's hairline is diabolical work. Out here trying to race bait, which I fully endorse. They call me a bit of a race baiter myself. But the difference is that I know the difference between a perm and an afro. My sister in leave-in conditioner, that's a perm. But I wouldn't expect somebody whose edges get laid as much as she does to understand that. This is the product I recommend. You're welcome. You see, he got the perm before he got famous because he didn't have money. He was trying to save money on his hair care. But then he got famous and everybody knew him for the perm, so he could never change it. By the time he died, he hated it. I can't wait for your next video where you call out Steve Irwin for appropriating the Jerry curl. Or perhaps JFK for appropriating the MLK. That joke there's a thinker. They're not anymore, anyway. All right, I'm gonna leave you alone now. Not because I want to. I have a golf tournament. All right, so get cunt, hit it with the RT. Merchants of bio.
Let that be a lesson to you. No Bob Ross slander will be tolerated. Just expletive up.
Then just walked up to me and she said,
I said that is Donald Trump's wall to keep out women.
What is he keeping women out of?
The way he talks about women, the way he downgrades women.
What's an example of that?
When he, just the way he treats his wife, the way he treats other women.
How does he treat his wife?
Watch the video of the inauguration. And
what did he do?
He walked away from her. He could care less about her.
Oh my God, we need to impeach him now.
Yes, we do.
Like yesterday, he walked away from her at the inauguration?
Well, yeah. As soon as the car pulled up, he stomped ahead and left her to fend for herself.
Oh my God.
And then, it's just, if you watched him with the Queen, he's marching right ahead of her. It's just his disdain for women. How about the fact that he was on record saying that he can walk right up to a woman and grab her pussy? That's pretty bad.
Well, I think what he was talking about is the type of woman who will allow a rich and powerful man to do anything that he wants, and that type of woman does exist.
I have no answer to that kind of comment that you just made.
They're called star fuckers.
Oh, do her ears work at all? Does she even hear the idiocy flying out of her mouth?
Choose what occurs with her body, and I don't think that it should be anybody else's decision.
So what if the body inside her body is a female?
Ultimately, the owning body is going to make the decision. And
so you believe humans can own other humans?
As a black person, yeah.
Yeah. What did you just say?
I believe that as a woman, that the bundle of cells in my stomach, prior to having actual feeling and nerve receptors.
Yeah. Okay. So when one human being, whole class of human beings, get classified as not entitled to the same rights as you don't find that problematic?
I don't find it problematic when they don't even have nerve receptors to feel or understand what's.
When do you think we get nerve receptors, by the way?
I think honestly, once what did they say, that 3-month mark is when, not even 3 months, it's a little bit sooner than that.
Your nervous system begins, it's there. And
Information, absolutely.
yeah, so you have a nervous system basically there, and then it needs to develop around 9 weeks, and you just grow from 9 weeks on.
Okay.
So your nervous system does come together following the genetic program inside the womb.
So when I'm referring to receptors in a general sense, I'm referring more to, can I feel what is occurring?
Right.
Is there pain? Just like if I
Yeah.
if these
I'm following you. So if it's painful, it's wrong. Is it okay if it's not painful? Like you chloroform someone.
That's what we can.
Right.
So,
Well, that's what I'm trying not to do.
and I stab them in their stomach, I cannot say.
What if you gave them strong anesthesia first?
It's not my right.
They don't feel pain.
It's your adult life.
So you believe that, so the class of human beings that you believe can be owned, oppressed, and destroyed. You said the body inside the body is your own.
I do not believe that you should.
We're both people. Let's not make it about the color of our skin.
Because there's different levels of discrimination that comes with different classes of people. So ultimately, my experience will always be different than yours. I have a uterus. You do not, that I know of. I am black.
I do not have a uterus. Okay, never mind. I changed my mind. I have a uterus. I'm a female.
So you're just self-identifying in order to be in this conversation with me?
No, I'm just saying. It's just, you said as far as I know.
Oh, because I'm trying to be as inclusive as possible in my conversation.
You 100% know I don't have a uterus.
No, I can't 100% know that. I have a little brother who's trans.
Are you at college here? Is this your college?
I'm actually staff.
Your staff?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm staff. Yeah.
And you think that I could just have a uterus if I wanted it?
No, that's not at all what I said. I said that I cannot look at you and determine what it is that you have inside your. That's what I said.
And you got a job at a college?
To her, we guess feelings only count if they're on the outside.
Life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies.
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus.
Is it living? How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus become living?
Nope.
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it, because it's living. It's living.
Oh, wait a second, but I got something for her.
When does this clump of cells or fetus become living?
When it can sustain its own life.
But when is that? When is the sustainability? How do you sustain life? Like, my newborns aren't sustainable. You can't just have a newborn and they just like live on their own, right?
Right.
The pro-choice argument meets common sense, and common sense seems to win every time.
I'm an American citizen, and I support the Ukraine. What President Trump and his sidekick, J.D. Vance, the vice president, did this week was shocking and shameful. President Zelensky, many of us here who are average citizens in the United States, we support you. We know that Russia is really at fault here, and that our Oompa Loompa is in his pocket. And for that, I know I am very sorry. And I am sorry that you're still having to deal with this war. But we stand with you and with the Ukrainian people, despite what was said in the Oval Office. He does not speak for all of us.
Ma'am, I don't think you're in the position to call Trump an Oompa Loompa. Me personally, I'd rather be an Oompa Loompa than Violet.
Ukrainians do not stand with Zelensky, but the liberal Americans do. Now that's very interesting. This is going to be an interesting year.
You're being a little dehumanizing.
Yes, I am being dehumanizing.
While that is still in my body, it is my choice.
What is the womb designed for?
It is designed to carry a clump of cells.
Where were you before you were born?
My dad's, I guess, testicles.
It wasn't you yet, because you is when there's a unique individual
so when I was
genetic
born,
identity.
then yes.
Come on, the science shows at the moment of fertilization, sperm egg fusion,
The
you have
science
unique.
doesn't
That's
actually
when
show that.
it does show that you have unique individual
the
genetic
science
identity.
That is a fact.
fertilized that there is cell multiplication.
But
that does
what
not
kind of
show,
cell multiplication? It's not like skin cells. What is it? Come on.
It's a massive cells.
But what is it? It's a human embryo, right?
Well, yes.
That's developing rapidly.
But it is a clump of cells.
But we already said we are clumps of cells. So you're kind of using that pejoratively, like, oh, you're a clump of cells. You can be aborted. You can be miscarried. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You and I are clumps of cells. So it's a
not
little
clump, but
dehumanizing.
yes, I am being dehumanizing
Why?
because it is a
Why?
clump of cells.
But we are clumps of cells. We already you acknowledge that. Why wouldn't you dehumanize us
Because
with that term?
until
But
you
you
are
dehumanize the baby.
actually outside of my body, there are no rights. Because if there were, my friends,
That
there would
child not
already
have
be
rights?
laws on the books. And currently, there are no laws on the books that say that anything that happens before that birth means that they are not actually live.
That's actually inaccurate. So
No.
even in states like California, there has been such a thing until recently, in the last 2 years, as illegal abortions. Are you aware of that? So even in states that are blue states, there
So-
are illegal abortions where it says, yes, before birth, this is a person that has some rights and we're going to protect them.
She wants to be cool so badly. Until there are laws against or for something, you can do whatever you want. That is not an argument you want to make.
To the woman in the purple, because I saw you were making a face at my previous answer. So what's going on?
Well, actually, I have a couple of questions. At the core of pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses and elsewhere is a demand to end the war in Gaza, a goal that this administration actually supports and has pursued. So why has this not been acknowledged or highlighted even?
Because these colleges and these protests have again put out Hamas propaganda.
And that's how you press secretary. Carol 1 was made for this job. Guess what liberal thought? They said she's being mean and insecure. Input an eye roll and a sigh right here.
You're a woman that goes into the gym and you ask yourself, like, why does every man stare at me? Why don't I get approached by these men? Is something wrong with me? I'm gonna tell you the answer. I'm not being delulu. This is just facts. I know it, and I've heard it from men saying why they don't approach me. The reason why you are not getting approached is because these men see you as a woman with high value. A lot of men just want to have fun. So they go and push themselves on women that they think don't have high value. This is the truth. Like, I'm trying to be kind, but that is the truth. You are not getting approached in a place where everyone's breaking their necks to stare at you. They know that if they approach you, you will hurt their ego. And they know that you are better than them. Men can sense if a woman is better than them, and that intimidates them. That just makes them scared, like, oh, no woman can be better than me. And personally, I take this as a compliment if I'm out in public getting a lot of stares.
I think I can speak for most guys right now. That's actually not the reason at all. The only reason guys don't really approach girls in the gym is because they're shy. That's it. Oh, she's high value and I don't want to hurt my ego. Type of weird psycho thing to say is that. And I think it's funny seeing someone confidently spew out nonsense on a subject they know nothing about, and then to go ahead and label themselves high value. Go outside and touch some grass, please. I can assure you it's not that deep, all right?
This one lives in her head. Better than who? Maybe no man thinks you're pretty. Ever thought of that?
If I were to ask Vice President Harris a question, I think I would ask her, how soon do you think we can get the Equality Act passed?
How about Donald Trump?
I would ask him, do you see me as a human?
Oh.
And here's a piece of advice. If you're a straight man at the airport, I want to see you in pants with some structural integrity. I don't want to see you in your comfies. That's not for you. I didn't sign up to leave the house and see you wearing joggers with a hole in it. Those things are for girls only. Please put on your jeans, khakis, J. Crew chinos. They're always on sale at the factory outlet. It's an epidemic and it's only getting worse. I've visited a lot of airports and it seems like as straight men, we're taking creative liberties that we don't need to be taking. Why do you need to be comfy? It's a sight for sore eyes. You guys want to wear the pants in society, so wear the pants everywhere in the airport. And if you can't dress appropriately, as my girl Kamala Harris says, do not come. Do not come.
I thought we don't dress up for other people. Why are you so concerned about a man's pants? You little woke pervert.
Myron says to me when I get there, he's like, you're a nice guy. I said, yeah, it was really disrespectful.
Off camera?
Off camera. And I said, bro, why would you say that to me? I think he got really surprised that I talked back. I was like, I'm gonna let that go because you just don't understand.
I'm surprised you did the pod with him after he said that.
Yeah, I said to Myron, I was like, if you met her, I don't think you would say that. I think if you got to know her, you would understand that, she wants to change, she wants to be better.
I'll go back to
definitely ramp up my only, produce more content. We'll see where it goes.
What does that mean?
We'll see where it goes.
Is there gonna be boy-girl stuff?
No.
That's the question.
Yeah. Would you go back to that?
Oh my God. No.
I'm out if that happens. I'm out.
Okay.
Would you?
No, I don't know.
What do you mean?
What do you don't know? I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
What?
No.
I'm sorry. You always said you would never go back.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
You don't think releasing old tape is going back?
It was already, the person I filmed with it, they were already selling it and everything. You could find it on the internet.
Got it.
It's just that I had never pushed it out on mine. So
this is literally already out there somewhere.
Yeah. It's not like
you didn't tell me
never
that.
seen the face of the internet.
I don't know
this
all this.
person's.
So it looks like Myron was right. Your girlfriend is a 304. I believe in second chances and forgiveness and all that fairy tale thing, but trying to save an OnlyFans girl, that's playing yourself. If she hadn't quit before you met her, run for the hills.
But I just be confused when people say Trump is a racist, only because before he ran for office, I never heard nobody call him a racist. People call him an ass.
But he's saying racist stuff now.
But what's racist stuff that he's saying?
The Haitian cat stuff?
What's racist about that?
Well, he's saying Haitians are
prejudice.
eating cats?
Yeah, Haitians are eating cats.
Or that when he was a landlord owning all places, he was very discriminatory against black residents.
I'm discriminatory against black residents in certain buildings. I don't want certain living in my building.
As long as you say it with
if
the
I
chest.
go home tomorrow and I see 17 in the lobby with do-rags on, I'm talking to manager. Who is these niggas?
Come on, yo.
Now, I'm from the hood. I don't want to see them in my building.
You worked hard to leave?
I worked hard to get away from these them, I love them, but it's I don't want to go to sleep these in my lobby either. But we don't want to be honest because people are Trump is racist. No, he's not. A racist man is not going to let Jennifer Hudson and her family stay in his building after her family was. A racist man is not going to send the jet to pick up Nelson Mandela in Africa once he was free from prison. A racist white.
The Haitian thing was racist? How? A woman got reported and arrested for sinking her teeth into her neighbor's cat. There's video evidence of this.
Asking for a friend. Is it too early to seek asylum in Canada?
No, you can go now. It's safer. It's safer in Canada. Go. I actually stand behind your efforts to move to Canada and become a Canadian and drink Tim Hortons and be with the Mounties. I support it. Timmy Hortons, best coffee you'll have. You'll enjoy it in Canada. Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, Saskatchewan. Go. The Canadians will have you with open arms.
And do I need a passport for that?
You don't even have a passport. They're never
The average liberal has no idea how the world works. Do you need a passport to move into another country? This is why they don't understand what illegal immigration is.
Attitude that what is perceived as a good leader.
No,
and
that's not what you have the
issue
problem.
is.
Most people who are successful in their given field aren't corrupt. It's very difficult to become successful and be corrupt.
So
I know
making
people
that
like to think
exception,
that, but it's just not
corruption
true.
is good. It's acceptable.
Percent of the population is psychopathic. And it never really goes above that. And the reason that it never goes above that is because being psychopathic is not a very good strategy. People in power are corrupt by definition, especially if they've built up their stature and influence as a consequence of competence, is simply wrong. And so you do want people who've demonstrated high levels of competence in at least one other field to serve as potential political candidates. What else would you use as a criteria for their ability?
When you bring a woke knife to a logic gunfight, Jordan Peterson dismantles their arguments with surgical precision.
You know, this hardwired brain stuff, like it's retro.
So Milo Yiannopoulos, does it matter men and women are wired differently, have different skills?
No, it doesn't matter in the sense that they are equal but different, but it simply isn't true to say that there is no difference whatsoever between the aptitudes of men and women. And it is, without question, true that there are some biological differences between men and women, and we know that from our anatomy. But we also know it from experiments that we do on young children before they've had the opportunity to be socialized, the sorts of toys that they go for. And that holds true actually for other bits of the animal kingdom as well. Some of the reason why girls drop out of STEM subjects at college and chess clubs is because they keep losing. And one of the reasons they keep losing is that it does seem to be the case that chess as a game plays to some of the male intellectual virtues. And when Simon Baron-Cohen talks about these, the way he describes it is men are good at systematizing and women are good at empathizing. And there is some reason to suppose that that may have some basis in biology.
When you challenge basic biology with woke ideology, prepare for a reality check.
Another tweet that said the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. I will say this, that many people in the party are not aware of their own racism. Let's go back to an early part of this conversation where you said to me, are you concerned about the color in the White House? Why would you ask me that question?
Because you speak about black issues.
No, but why would you ask me? But let's get to really the nucleus of this. Why did you ask me that question today?
Because you're bringing a whole group of young African American leaders to the White House.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about often, is that in many ways what liberals don't realize that you put on that the racism and the conversations that we have.
So you're saying I'm a racist.
You haven't let me finish my statement. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay. The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race. Okay. You guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. You try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough black people in the White House?
You're bringing a whole group of young black leaders to the White House.
Color,
so clearly
I don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking about?
But then why make it that you're going to bring young black leaders to the White House? I mean, this is sort of absurd.
Because the media, as in the whole.
This is absurd. You're bringing this group to the White House.
It's not absurd.
Just to be clear.
I'm trying to be extremely clear with you.
I know. But you view me as a racist white
I think
liberal.
that you're not. First off, you put those words in my mouth and you keep saying it. So I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today.
I have questions for you as well, but we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Do you think that language is helpful, though? I mean, just in terms of the national conversation.
Well, I could ask you, do you think it's helpful to ask me, just because I'm a black woman, if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and introspective.
It's not. It's you just trying to create an undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
No. But I just want to say, I just want to say,
you're looking at me on the basis of my skin color, and make a bunch of deductions. I did not. You said that, and we can run the tape back.
You said that. Here's what I want to say.
You quoted it, but you were not added in that tweet, so do not say that I called you that, because that's dishonest, and we are on TV, so you can run. Okay, so I did not call you a racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim. Here's what I want to say. Which is not what I.
The media tried to push a narrative, but the truth had other plans. The woke agenda unraveled live.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Out of order? McBride is a dude, though. What are you talking about?
That's not alive. That is something.
No, this isn't alive because that's murdered.
No. If it was put together, I would still
No. You'd say. So if this baby.
Step on ants.
Right.
Step on cockroaches.
Right.
Cockroaches don't have conscience.
Well, no, but I'm a follower of Jesus. I believe cockroaches are not made in the image of God.
Do
you wear the cross because it's just jewelry?
God, yes, of course I have.
Well, no, but so God says human beings are different than animals because human beings are made in the image of God. The reason you can step on a cockroach, even if the cockroach is running from you, is because the cockroach isn't made in the image of God.
She might be in DRUGS ants, cockroaches.
I just want to drill in a bit about Doge. Even if you were to fire every single government employee, they would not even be able to get to a fraction of how much revenue we need to get for taxes. That's not enough, and it's not helpful.
No, I mean, it's $115 million for equity assessment programs. That's a lot of money.
No, with regards compared
This
to
is
how
not
much,
a lot of money.
compared to how much we need for to run the country.
This is a false argument. I'm glad you're making it, which is that so then we shouldn't cut it because it's not that big of a deal.
No, that's not what I mean.
So should we cut this?
It depends. You need to make the argument that it's actually good.
Well,
Why
first
should
of
it not
all,
exist?
the president signed an executive order saying no more DEI.
Okay.
Equity assessment should have no place in the U.S. government because
Why?
equity is not constitutional. It's not in the U.S. Constitution. It's not an American value. And $115 million is a grotesque amount of money to spend on it, so you should get rid of it to save taxpayer money. You think the government is innocent until proven guilty. I think the government, after what we've learned, is guilty until proven innocent. Even if you only save $100 in taxpayer money, that is a moral fight worth having. That attitude is why we're $35 trillion in debt.
That boy is a metal detector's worst nightmare. Liberals have suddenly become government cheerleaders. If Kamala had come up with Doge, they would be bootlicking her feet right now.
We want to take down the Department of Education. How do we plan to compete internationally? I'm an immigrant from China, and in China, we value education as #1 priority. Because through education, we can improve our social status and become a more valuable member in society.
We have a different view of education than the Chinese. The Chinese model is great from a totalitarian standpoint. You will do this, you will learn that, you will serve the state, and you will be very good at it. I actually would rather have us have millions of thoughtful, deep, philosophically minded good citizens that know what it is to think critically. The Department of Education is an administrative state. It is this massive beast that is way overfunded, way overbloated, and if we want to compete with China, we're not going to out-totalitarian them. Instead, we should do what is necessary for a free society to continue to exist. The only way a free society exists is if citizens know what liberty is. Let me just ask you a question. Do they say that is Taiwan Taiwan, or is it land of the Chinese Communist Party?
We call it Taiwan. We recognize the situation in our government.
Okay, so it's not China's, it's its own sovereign, autonomous country?
We call them Taiwan. We recognize how they're separate, but they still belong to us legally.
Okay. You see what I'm getting at, right? The difference is this. In totalitarian countries, human beings are little parts of a broader machine to be put in. In a free society, you're all independent souls that are made in the image of God, that you have to understand what freedom and liberty is and to grow into something greater.
A Chinese immigrant studying in the United States, but somehow thinks China is superior to the US in education. Isn't that a little bit cuckoo?
Donald Trump has backed down from imposing tariffs on both Mexico and Canada.
He's keeping his promise that he made months ago that these tariffs will remain in effect until Mexico and Canada can take measures to stop the invasion of illegal substances and illegal people into our country. We see that both Canada and Mexico have made such measures to reach an agreement with the deal that Trump gave them.
Donald Trump has backed down after a crash in our stock market this morning.
No, that's not why. Try again.
Retaliatory plans announced by both governments.
No, also not true. Try again.
As well as new agreements with both governments to keep a closer eye on the substances coming across our border.
There we go. Was it so hard to say the truth? Do you notice how him and his smug liberal Avenger squad are all like plotting for the US's downfall and celebrating the wins and victories of Mexico and Canada and trying to make us look weaker? If you love Mexico and Canada so much, move there.
No, liberals don't take action. They never have. They just lie and complain. That's about it.
Next guest, who is Shivani Dave. She is a journalist and a presenter at Virgin Radio, just down the corridor. Good afternoon to you, Shivani.
Good afternoon, Julia. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar, so the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me.
Grammar won this round, but the confusion's still undefeated.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at
If
some
your
point
chromosomes are X and you're young, you menstruate. If you're X, You don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not men.
excluding a whole group of people
They're
here
women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X, Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an
The
example
science.
when we've learned gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different.
They are completely different.
Completely different words.
It's what you're born with. Reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
Menstruation debate gets a plot twist. Apparently, it's all about who's dressed as who.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a
So
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you can see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania. But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talk?
Voter to voter. When debate turns into democracy, there's no contest.
But you matter too.
We do not appreciate being filmed for this.
Oh, he's not filmed. He identifies a camera. we just kind of, I'm glad it's funny to you.
Confusing doesn't even begin to cover it.
You cannot tell me.
So I have a question.
And also, you're not a biologist.
So I have a question.
I'm 20.
As a mathematician and a physicist, what in the do you know about human biology?
And you got your
As
law
a
degree from
denier?
Harvard. What do you know about biology? You got your law degree from Harvard.
And frankly,
What do you know about biology?
and frankly, I would ask another question. If your logic is so flawed as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately.
Turns out a fancy degree doesn't automatically come with common sense. That's all for today's woke meltdowns. Stay tuned for more truth.